So the Lakers season is over, and so it appears, too, is Frank Vogel's career as Lakers head coach. Woj tweets that he's going to be fired, and Frank Vogel at the press conference after the Lakers' final game said this.
My reaction is I haven't been told, and I'm going to enjoy tonight's game, celebrate what these young guys did in terms of scratching and clawing, getting back in this game, getting a W, and we'll deal with tomorrow.
Look, man, they did Frank Vogel dirty. Rob Pelinka, LeBron James, they changed their personnel. Frank Vogel's a defensive-minded coach. This is a guy that just won a championship 19 months ago, okay? But this is the reality of the world that we live in, and we've seen this movie before. We knew that he would be fired, and he also lost the locker room. Russell Westbrook wanted the ball in his hands on fast breaks. They had difference of styles. They bunted heads. If you're talking about guys text messaging during games, think about that. Text messaging people during games. There were reports of that around this weekend. Players going against coaches' instructions right after the timeout. We knew this was going to happen. It doesn't change the personnel as it relates to their lineup. But who is the next coach going to be? I nominate Nick Nurse. I think Nick Nurse coming from Toronto, if they're able to pry him away from Masai Ujiri in that franchise, offensively, what he could bring to this team, I think will play major dividends for them from an offensive perspective moving forward.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that Frank Vogel will probably be sent the door at some point today. As Woj reported, it's not his fault. I understand what Jay's saying. It's personnel, it's the defense that lost the locker room. All that's fine and dandy. But I think when you look at where the Lakers were at the start of the season, they never got going. And injuries derailed this team. There's no question about it. When you look at the three superstars, and Westbrook never really got going, and he was booed an awful lot. And, AD, our second gun, wasn't hired at all. And then LeBron did what LeBron normally would do, but that just wasn't enough in this year. Several years ago, that would have been enough. Yeah. And I think the makeup of the team, the roster, things of that nature, nobody is to blame for this, really, to be honest with you, because when you think about it, whether it was Clutch and Rich Paul and LeBron James, and then Jeannie Buss signed off on it with Rob Pelinka, and Frank Vogel signed off with Jeannie and Rob, and so all of them collectively are to blame. He gets it. I just don't know why you would fire the coach when clearly I think everybody who watches the NBA and knows about the NBA can very well tell that one of the main reasons this team never got going is because of injuries.
Yeah, like the fact that you fire the coach, it's almost like you need some excuse. It was such a bad season, something had to happen. Like the end of this season, everyone's like, something has to happen. Now, Westbrook's contract, very difficult to move. You may not be able to make something happen there, right? AD got hurt a lot. You can put exactly what Key just said. Go through it. Who's really to blame? Actually, the least maybe Vogel, right? Like because he's cooking with the ingredients. They went out and got him. What else can he do? Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, if we playing with guys that aren't very good, like you say, Max, what the hell you expect for him to do?
I expect him not to be 17 games under 500.
Vogel, though?
Well, guys, let's not act like there isn't culpability here for the head coach. I get the roster construction.
19 months ago, he just won a championship.
I understand, though, Key, but I get that, look, the roster construction is the same, but when you have dudes that are text messaging during games, when you have guys
but you know what that was
5 seconds ago. You can do it.
I know, but let me tell you, when you come out of a timeout and a coach draws up a play and you have players that run different sets, to smack in the face to your head coach.
Yeah, that all that's fine, Jay. I get it. They knew he was going to be fired, though. They knew he was going to be fired. But I've been in a situation where I had a head coach in Richie Kotite. We knew he was getting ready to get fired, man. We was doing all type of stuff toward the end of the season. We knew he was gone. Yeah, we knew he was gone.
Check this out. Let's say I would say this season was so bad, someone had to go, right? Picture this, and let me tell you why it's kind of an eye-roll situation. Jeannie Buss steps up and goes, you know what? As head of the Lakers, I need to step down. That's never going to happen, nor should it, right? let's say Pelinka says, hey, I'm the GM. I put this together. It was such a bad job by me. I'm firing myself. Not going to happen. LeBron steps up. In fact, hey, everybody, it's right here. It's on me. I'm the one who insisted on Westbrook, so I should be traded. None of those things are going to happen. Westbrook can't be traded because of the contract, or it's difficult. You're not going to get much back. So when you go down the line, where you're going to fire an assistant coach, if this feeling is something needs to change, by default, it's going to wind up being Vogel.
But you guys go back to the beginning of this, right? Like, people really wanted Ty Lue to be the head coach.
Yep.
People really wanted Jason Kidd to be the head coach. So all that going into this, I think those guys would have received a lot longer runway than Frank Vogel. So it's a combination of, hey, we thought we should have had that. That didn't really work out. He's losing the locker room. And when you don't got buy-in from your best players, that's a problem.
Question. Is this part of LeBron's legacy now? He gets coaches. Not only does he, wherever he goes, they win championships. They make strong runs until this year, no matter what's around him. But he also gets coaches fired. Is that part of the legacy?
No, I don't think it's part of the legacy. I think it's part of the story. It's part of, hey, LeBron James, he won a championship. Yeah, man, God, Frank Vogel got fired. Oh, man, they won a championship. So-and-so got fired. I mean, that's just part of.
But that's the legacy.
That has nothing to do with the legacy at all.
No, it doesn't have anything to do with it. I wouldn't even use the word legacy, just part of the story.
But are you going to remember LeBron James for getting David Blatt fired, or are you going to remember him for winning the first championship in the history of Cleveland?
What you just said is super important to me, the chronology of that. David Blatt, he got him close, no cigars. LeBron is always, like in Cleveland when he first left, he had to take things into his own hands. Everyone was like, yup, that was the right thing because they were never going to get you a championship.
But also think about this, Mike, Max. Mike Brown didn't win a championship and got fired. He didn't win a championship and got fired. David Blatt didn't win a championship and got fired. Ty Lue won a championship with him. LeBron left. They wind up firing him.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.